Yo guys, what is going on? It's Lukey here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys the best class for every single assault rifle and SMG for Warzone after the new update 1.20. So the new update has just arrived. There's a few little nerfs, a few little buffs, and there's also a few new weapons in the store and all of that kind of stuff. And today I thought I'd go ahead and make a video on showcasing the best class ups for every single weapon. Well, only the assault rifles and SMG. If you guys want the rest, then I will be doing the rest, maybe LMGs, marksman rifles, snipers, etc. If you guys want that, but only if you guys do want that, because it does take kind of a while to obviously level up all the weapons, get all the best attachments and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm just going to get straight into this. All the timestamps down below are going to be in the comment section, so if you guys want a specific weapon, just check the comments and the specific weapon will be there. Now I'm not going to drag this video on for too long. I'm going to get straight through these attachments as fast as possible. So as you can see, the kilos so far, we got the monolithic suppressor. This sight is the sight that I always use on any weapon. At the moment, there's only a few specific sights I like to use. So we've got the Cronin, there's a few other nice ones like the hybrid sights, etc. On this weapon as well, we have extended mags, the range foregrip, and the Singard arms 19.8 inch prowler barrel. Now, like I say, there is a few decent sights. I do switch it up every now and then. My few favourite ones are the canted hybrid sights, the Corp combat holo sight, we got the Cronin LP4 5mm reflex, we got the 4x hybrid, we got the VLK 3x optic sight. There's a bunch of good sights to use, so obviously you guys can feel free to use any sight you guys want to, or even if you guys don't want to, you can not use a sight at all, and maybe you can stick on a laser or maybe a stock or something different. Anyway, the next class is going to be the FAL. So we've got the monolithic suppressor, we've got the XRK marksman barrel, we've got the same sight once again, we've got the Ranger foregrip, and we've got extended mags. I'd like to quickly mention I do use extended mags on pretty much every single weapon in this game, and I also like to use this sight like I just mentioned. But another thing I do like to go ahead and mention quickly as well, monolithic suppressor, I use it on every weapon, and I also use extended mags on every single weapon. As you can see on this class here, the M4A1, we have the monolithic suppressor. Now the monolithic suppressor takes you off the minimap whenever you do shoot, so this is going to be really helpful in Warzone. Also, extended mags is going to be one of the most helpful attachments you can also use, because obviously this is going to help you not have to reload as much, and if there is a whole entire squad or multiple enemies in front of you, you aren't going to really have to worry about reloading. If you had 30 mags instead of 60 round mags, you're probably going to kill one person and then you're going to have to reload, and in the time you have spent reloading, you're probably going to end up being downed. So I do strongly advise you guys sticking up on as much bullets as you possibly can on certain weapons. So yeah. Next up though, we got the FR 5.56. Now I'd like to quickly mention this is actually an extremely powerful weapon. I have not seen that many people use this weapon, and I do strongly advise you guys to go ahead and do so, because it is actually a very good weapon. It can 2-burst pretty much every single person, it's got really good accuracy, and it's got really good range. As you can see, monolithic suppressor, we've got the sniper barrel, the same sights, we've got the Ranger foregrip, and then we've got the extended mags again. So as this is a burst weapon, it is probably going to be a really good weapon actually. I did make a video near when Warzone just came out, and that video now has almost 20,000 views. I didn't think it would do that well, but it did pretty good, 20,000 views on that video. So if everyone has watched that, then you probably would have seen how good this weapon actually is, because it is a burst weapon, it has insanely good range, insanely good accuracy, and because of the fact that it is a burst weapon, obviously the accuracy is going to be really high, because every single time in between bursts, your recoil pattern is going to go back to where it was originally. But with a fully automatic weapon, the recoil is just consistent, but with a burst, there's only a little tiny bit of recoil. So I really actually recommend you guys giving this weapon a go. It is super underrated. Next up, we've got the Odin, and I'd like to mention quickly again, this weapon is actually really powerful. It's probably one of the most highest damage assault rifles in the game at the moment. We've got the monolithic suppressor, the barrel, the Cronin optic, and the Ranger foregrip, and the 30 round mags. Now the only downside to this weapon is it doesn't have much bullets in this weapon, but if you look at the accuracy, damage and range, it's absolutely through the roof. That is the main reasons why this weapon is really good. Now yes, it doesn't have the fastest fire rate, and yes, the mobility is really slow, and it doesn't have too much bullets in the mag, but it does make up for that in the range and accuracy and damage. You guys are gonna, if you land like 3 shots on your enemy, they're gonna be dead. This weapon is insanely powerful, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game. Next up, we got the M13. This is definitely my favourite weapon at the moment, and if you guys are wondering, this is actually Cloakzy's class that I like to use. So we got the monolithic suppressor, the Tempest marksman, we got the Corp combat holo sight, we have the extended mags, and we have the Merc foregrip. The reason this is my favourite weapon at the moment in Warzone is because of the fact it has no recoil, insanely good range, good damage, good fire rate, good mobility, good control. There's not a single bad thing I could ever say about this weapon, and that is the reason why it is my favourite weapon at the moment. I've had some insanely good kills with this weapon. If you guys want to go ahead and check them out, I do have a TikTok page as well, the link is down below, and I do have quite a lot of M13 clips on there because this weapon is just absolutely beautiful. The main reason it's so good is because it has really good accuracy, range and fire rate, and those things combined are really deadly. Next up we got the SCAR. This weapon isn't really talked about that much, but trust me, it's actually really good. It's super powerful, got good range and a good accuracy. The mobility is a little bit slow on this one, but still it is a pretty good weapon. So we've got the monolithic suppressor, the 20-inch barrel, we've got the commando foregrip, the extended mags, and once again we have one of my favourite sights, the Cronen LP945 mini reflex. But like I've said before, you can use whatever sight you guys want to, it doesn't matter. You can even use the iron sights and maybe swap the sight with a stock or a laser, rear grip, anything you guys want to. Now the only downside to this weapon, and the main reason that no one actually uses it, is because it only has 30 bullets, so I wouldn't recommend you guys using this on squads. I would only recommend you guys using it on solos. Next up though, we got the AK-47 class, we got the monolithic suppressor, the 23-inch barrel, we got the Cronen sight once again, no stock, and the 40 mags. Now the reason I have the no stock attachment on, some people disagree with this, but it's just because the mobility on this weapon is really slow, so having a no stock is going to help increase the mobility back up a little bit, and it's not going to be that slow. Now this weapon's really good, it's really powerful, it's not got much recoil, it's got really good accuracy and really good range, so if you get like 4 bullets in your enemy, this should kill them. Now the iron sights on this weapon are absolutely disgusting, so I do recommend you guys sticking on a sight. That's probably one of the most must-have attachments on this weapon, is going to be the sight, so I really advise you guys sticking a sight on, because honestly the iron sights on this weapon are just ugly AF. Next up though, we got the Ram 7. Now unfortunately not all of you guys are going to have this weapon unlocked, but it is actually really good. So we've got the monolithic suppressor, the FSS Ranger barrel, the canted hybrid sight, we've got the 50 round mags and the Merc foregrip. This weapon is kind of similar to the M13 in my opinion. It's got insanely good range, damage, accuracy and fire rate. It's got pretty similar stats to the M13. The only downside, I think this has a little bit less mobility, and I think it has a little bit extra range as well, and I think the fire rate is a little bit slower. But this weapon is really good. It is actually one of my favourite weapons at the moment in Warzone and multiplayer. I have been using it a bunch, and I do really recommend you guys giving it a go. Now, if you want to go ahead and maybe put the mobility up a little bit on this weapon, you can go ahead and put like stipple grip tape on or something like that. Next up, we got one of the best weapons in Warzone. So my two favourite weapons at the moment are going to be this weapon and the M13. This weapon is an absolute laser beam. Now the main reason I love this weapon is because it doesn't need an optics sight, just like as you guys probably noticed on all my previous weapons, all of them had an optics sight on, but this weapon just doesn't need an iron sight. It doesn't need an optic sight. The iron sights on this weapon are just really clean. They're so simple, they're so immaculate, and they're probably some of the nicest iron sights I have ever seen in Call of Duty history. I'm not even joking, I'm not even exaggerating. These iron sights are probably some of the nicest iron sights I have ever seen. They're so easy to use, and because it doesn't need an iron sight, because it doesn't need a sight, you can go ahead and put on a different attachment such as a perk, maybe sleight of hand would be good, a rear grip, a stock. The last attachment is really up to you, but for me, I went with the rear grip. Anyway, I'd just like to quickly mention, I'm going to go on to the SMGs now. However, I'm not going to be doing a best class up for a few of the SMGs. I'm only going to be concentrating on 4, because the reason for this is because there's only 4 SMGs that you should be using in Warzone. All the other SMGs like the P90 are completely useless. So first up, we got the AUG monolithic suppressor, we got the 822mm long barrel, we got the VLK 3x optic, the 60 NATO 5.56 ammunition, and we got the Ranger foregrip. Now the main attachment that makes this weapon overpowered is going to be the ammunition. You have to use this ammunition. It's going to make this weapon basically into a mini assault rifle. So this ammunition basically increases the range by an absolute load, and it also increases the damage by quite a lot as well. So the ammunition on this weapon is going to be a must-have attachment. This is the sight I like to use. Once again, you can use whatever sight you guys want to, but this is one of the main ones I've been liking at the moment. Next up, we have the MP5. I like to use the monolithic suppressor, I like to use the straight stock, I like to use the 45 round mag, stipple grip tape, and the Ranger foregrip. Now personally for me, this weapon does not need an optic sight, but if you guys want to, you can go ahead and stick a stock on this weapon instead, and maybe get rid of the stock and go ahead and put a optic sight on. Now the weapons I'm not going to be making a video on is a P90, I'm not going to be making an Uzi one, and I'm not going to be making a striker one, because those weapons are completely useless in Warzone. Anyway, next up we have the MP7, which is the best SMG in Warzone in my opinion. We got the monolithic suppressor, the FSS Recon barrel. We got the tac laser, the Merc foregrip, and then the extended mags. This weapon is an absolute laser beam. I'm pretty sure you're probably going to be called a hacker if you use this, not gonna lie. I've used this multiple times, and every single time I do use it, I do get messages, and I do get people typing in the chat calling me a hacker. It's pretty funny, but that just shows how good it is. So I like this weapon. I don't use a sight on this weapon because the iron sights are really clean. I like to use a laser in my personal preference, but if you guys don't want to use a laser, you can go ahead and put on a stock or a perk or a rear grip. It's completely up to you. The last weapon in today's video is going to be the PP19 BIZON. All the attachments are up on screen now. Give it a go.